On today's ChurchTechCast.com Q&A show, PTZs, Easy Worship 6, and vixias for live streaming. Hi, and welcome again to another episode of the ChurchTechCast.com Q&A show. This is the show where every week I answer your church tech questions. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. I'm your host, and I'd love for you to ask your question, so just do that below the video. Now, if you're listening to the audio podcast, perfectly good way to do it, head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/CTCQA for Church Tech Cast questions and answers, CTCQA, and ask your question there. Jeff Stratton via email asks, I'm trying to get together info for our church. We are finally planning to begin live streaming. I've been reading some of your articles on Church Tech Today and have found them helpful. However, I have a few questions. We have tech guys who have set up and worked live streaming for churches before, but they've worked exclusively with tripod-mounted cameras. We're planning on using wall-mounted PTZs. Initially we won't have an HD stream, we would like to use HD cameras. Do you have any recommendations for budget HD PTZ cameras in the $1,000 range? Okay, so there's a lot there. Let's unpack it real quick. First off, in general, I've used really good PTZs in my life, and even then, they're not as good as having an operator touching and holding and interacting with the tripod. They're much more mechanical. They're like, and even if they're slow, it's so they're not as smooth and natural as the movements of an operator. Now, they're getting better all the time, but still it's not as easy. Plus, there's a level of abstraction there. You're not using pan bars, you're using a joystick. You might even be using kind of presets that send the PTZ to a certain location. So it's less than ideal. With that said, sometimes you don't have a choice. So if you could get a single camera on a tripod, that would be great. If you could get more, that would be better. But if you can't get any, that's fine. Secondly, HD, yeah, I wouldn't even consider SD. Right now it's 2015. We're on the cusp of 4K coming down the line. So to think that in 3 years, 5 years, when you would think about upgrading, you would be going from SD to something else is just remarkable to me. If you've already got SD, that's different. Start planning on upgrading now, but don't buy new SD gear. You're right. Stick with HD. With that said, that causes a problem. You've got a budget problem because you want to spend $1,000 per camera, and in talking with you, we've got only $10,000 to work with, give or take. So you've got everything but the cameras, and the cameras, that leaves about $2,000 or $3,000 for the cameras. Unfortunately, I can't find any good PTZ cameras for less than a couple of grand each. So I think the way to address this is to reconfigure the budget and think about what you're using for what. See if maybe you should be using an encoding appliance instead of a dedicated computer, for example. See if you can use a more budget-minded switcher. Maybe you can find a switcher that's also an encoder and combine the two to save yourself some money. But I really think that finding sub $1,000 HD camcorders just isn't the solution. That you need to figure out a way to find other basically find another way to save money, whether that's different cameras or something else. So that's what I would consider in your situation. Next, Praise Television on one of my ProPresenter 5 videos on YouTube asks, "Hi Paul, just want to make sure you are familiar with Easy Worship 6 interface, and I want to ask, if you are, how do you add message alerts in Easy Worship 6? I quit using Easy Worship in 2005, maybe 2006, so I'm not. If anyone is, please, by all means, just go ahead and give me a comment and we'll stick the two of you together. For me, Easy Worship was too slow in updating their interface. Their sermon notes were just abysmal. I actually talked to 2 different people at Easy Worship, and I was saying, look, we're going to soon need something that will interface with a professional switcher. Do you have anything like that? And one of them said that they didn't. Now, it could be that they've added the appropriate stuff since then. I just haven't dealt with them in about 10 years. So, nice guys, good company, just wasn't what our church needed in particular. Okay, Godchild15 on Twitter asks, how do I stream my Canon Vixia HF-G20 as a webcam? My Toshiba laptop doesn't recognize it like other webcam, and how's the setup? Okay, so as I understand it, the only way to do this, I've got, I think, the same model of Canon Vixia, and I couldn't get it to work on my Mac either, so it's not Mac versus PC. What it is that these devices aren't meant to be webcams. They're meant to be camcorders. So if you want to capture the video live, what you need to do is come out HDMI and go into some capture device. So first off, you need a computer. If you're going to capture it on a computer, which he is, you need a computer, Toshiba in this case. You need a computer with either Thunderbolt, USB 3.0, or the third option is PCI Express. He has all 3, so I sent him a link to a kind of lower budget live streaming rig blog post, and I'll link that below the video as well. So I hope that helped you. I hope one of those was your question you just hadn't answered yet. And if not, by all means, don't forget to leave it below the video or over at trinitydigitalmedia.com/CTCQA. Okay, so if you like this content, you'd also like my email newsletter, so head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/gifts, GIFTS, and there you can pick up a copy of my email newsletter and a free church tech gift. All of that's free. Also head over to my store, and there you can find all the church tech stuff that I've created with you in mind to make your job easier and make you more effective in spreading the gospel. What I want to highlight, though, is Church Tech U, which is my community where we have all those resources and an opportunity for discussion on all the areas of creativity and technology in the church. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com. Go out and change eternity.